guys, this is Zane from Anything for Geeks, and today we're going to talk about Dilophosaurus. As you can probably guess, Dilophosaurus is a dinosaur. Its name means a double-crested lizard from these two crests. This is one, so you can see two crests on the skull. That's what it's named for. That's Dilophosaurus. And we're going to talk about when it lived, what it's related to, what it ate, stuff like that. So let's get started. This is a toy Dilophosaurus. This is not like entirely accurate. Perhaps more accurate would be this drawing of a Dilophosaurus. You can see the two crests. You can actually only see one mainly because it's a side view, but you can still see the two crests. So this is a toy, this is a drawing. You can see that they're similar but also very different. One thing that's different about Dilophosaurus is Dilophosaurus lived in the early Jurassic, so it was a basal theropod. And it was in a group that was only just transitioning into more advanced and more derived theropods. And so Dilophosaurus is a predatory dinosaur. So you can look at its teeth, and it just looks kind of mean. People didn't know much about Dilophosaurus. Even now, people only know Dilophosaurus mainly because of its appearance in Jurassic Park, where it was radically misinterpreted. That Dilophosaurus was way too small. So for comparison, in Jurassic Park, Dilophosaurus was around 4 to 5 feet tall and about 6 feet long, which was medium size, or actually very small for a theropod. And this was not actually Dilophosaurus' size. Dilophosaurus would have probably been 14 feet high and was 20 feet long, and it was actually very big for its time, and even among theropods, it's a respectable but modest size. So clearing that confusion from Dilophosaurus. Another misconception that people have about Dilophosaurus from Jurassic Park is that it had a neck frill which it could expand like a cobra's hood, and that it could also spit venom. Both of which are not true. At least we think that the frill was probably not true. We actually don't know exactly, but it was very unlikely. That's that. And so that's basically misconceptions about Dilophosaurus. And Dilophosaurus lived in the early Jurassic, as we mentioned before. Around 200 million years ago, probably around 165 at the very least. One thing that this toy is very wrong about is, first of all, the poster. Dilophosaurus did not rest on its tail like a kangaroo. It would have kept its tail straight. For example, you can see in this drawing, its tail is held up a bit. That's one thing that this shows wrong. Also, the body. Dilophosaurus did not have a radically curved spine. You can see the curve here, and scales, probably likely, mostly rough skin actually. Our own skin, but not scales probably. Yes, the hands. One thing that I have to respect about this toy is that the hands are not pronated, which means the hands face downward from the wrist and curl inwards, like a hawk's talons. Which is a pose that you often see in dinosaurs such as this Allosaurus, or at least they were going for an Allosaurus. Yeah, they were going for an Allosaurus. You can see that this, like, the hands, they're severely pronated. This hand is downwards. However, in here, the hands are facing each other. I have to respect that. But one thing between these two toys, they mixed up the number of fingers, or rather, they swapped it. Dilophosaurus actually had about 4 fingers, but this toy only shows 3 per hand. Allosaurus only had 3, but this toy actually shows 5. Just like another consideration. Also, one thing not shown in this, you look at the skull. The skull is pretty triangular. So is the jaw. The jawline's pretty average. Nothing too special in there. However, Dilophosaurus has a feature that, like most theropods in its group have. You can see in this drawing, look at the jaw, there's like a small like notch there. It's called the premaxillary notch. We don't know what its purpose was, but it was just there. And yeah, that's just like, it's there. You know what, there is kind of a notch, but you can't actually see. There's like a short tooth there, but you can't actually see it. So yeah, that's the premaxillary notch. Yeah, so Dilophosaurus belonged to the theropods. So you had to understand one thing before we go into Dilophosaurus. There are basically like 3 basic groups of theropods. There are the coelophysids, there are the carnosaurs, and then there are the coelurosaurs. And the carnosaurs and the coelurosaurs are grouped in one group apart from the coelophysids, which are called the tachinurans, which basically means stiff tails, because their tails were stiff and they couldn't like bend them or like curl them a lot. Animals like T-Rex, Allosaurus, Velociraptor, Dromaeosaurus, they are all tachinurans. And Dilophosaurus, we're actually not clear where it belongs. It seems to have like kind of a stiff tail, but not exactly a stiff tail. It has some basal features such as a 4-fingered hands, a narrower body shape, for example, like a narrower body shape than seen in the primal tachinurans. So we're not pretty clear. Aside from this, like, the most popular theory is that it was an ancestor of the tachinurans, and it was not a coelophysid, but it wasn't a tachinurans either. It was just like something in between. So yeah, that's where Dilophosaurus goes in now. Yeah, some people although place like Dilophosaurus in with the coelophysids, because Dilophosaurus shows a lot of similarity with a lot of coelophysids, such as the double crests, which actually appear in some other earlier coelophysids, leading people to think that Dilophosaurus was a coelophysid and not a tachinurans, but we're not sure. It could be conversion to evolution. Perhaps these crests were useful back then. And that's just me talking about the crests. We don't know what the crests were used for, though, so that was not very useful. So yeah, that's basically all we have for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. We'll be seeing you next time. Bye. Also, Dilophosaurus says bye. Say bye. Bye.